You're listening to Flush Your Fat for Good with Jackie and Dr. Vicky, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hi, buddies. Hi, looky-loos. Hi, best friends. Hi, who's ever checking in with us right now. We're so happy that you've joined us. Today is right before Thanksgiving, so we're happy to do this show today to help you guys understand the importance of being able to do what we're going to talk about all through the holidays. This is about flush your fat for good, to be lean and healthy for life. I'm Jackie Paget Baird.
And I'm Dr. Vicky Arcady.
And we are the co-creators of Flush Your Fat for Good. And that means for good riddance, for the good of your health, the good of your body, to never crave your sweets and starches again, to not be hungry all the time when you're dieting, to sleep deeply, to think sharper, to have better digestion, absorption, and elimination, to have way better moods.
Yes.
That's the one thing we hear all the time. God, I'm happier. And most importantly, safe, rapid fat loss. Okay? Now, how would you love to lose fat all through Thanksgiving? What's next? Christmas. No, Hanukkah's coming up. Somebody told me Hanukkah.
Oh yeah, it's right after Thanksgiving.
No, I don't like that.
It's right after Thanksgiving.
I don't, celebrate Hanukkah, but my friends do,
Yes.
and I like it when we're closer. But anyway, Hanukkah's coming up right after Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. Then we have, New Year's.
New Year's, and that's when everyone goes on their crash diets. And,
right. Last 3 days.
We want you to lose before New Year's so that you can make your New Year's resolution and get a new wardrobe.
And this is not a diet. As I always say, the first three
Yes.
letters in the word diet is die. And that's because that's how you feel when you're dieting.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're on Flush Your Fat for Good, you feel amazing. You eat a ton of food. It's just how you eat it, and we teach you how to do that. So if you want to learn more about that after the show, go to Flush Your Fat for Good,
Number
four,
mm-hmm.
good.com, and check it out. We have a workbook available, and you can download that, and you can also get some other nice little goodies to keep you going. And
the workbook's really great if you want to get started because it has everything in there, even Jackie's typical day.
Yeah.
It has a couple recipes, and it has, the basics. So you
and
can get started.
It's a digital, so you can
Yeah.
get started today if you want, and you're like, oh, no, I'm not doing that before Thanksgiving. Well, when we started the study groups with Flush Your Fat for Good, we intentionally started them in October, right before Halloween.
Right.
What? No Butterfingers? So we really are excited about this because today, Dr. Vicky, she has her segment on Did You Know That? And what are you doing for Did You Know That?
Well, in Flush Your Fat for Good, we have a special group of buddies that we pay a lot of attention to. And these are our POWER100, we call them heroes, because these are the people that are, we don't keep it just to 100 pounds overweight. But anybody who's struggling, you can be 60 pounds overweight, but we intended it for those who are at least 100 pounds overweight, because when you're 100 pounds overweight, it's a pretty dire situation for you. Not just that you feel hopeless, and life, every movement is a struggle. To get up out of a chair is a struggle. You cannot get on the floor and play with your kids. That's a struggle. How about getting into your car? That's a struggle. And driving to the store. Think about being 100 pounds overweight, carrying 5 pounds of dog food on your back, and getting out of a car and having to walk through the grocery store aisles. I mean, that every step is painful. And these are people, you know, that have had a stigma. I know all about this because my mother was one of these people. I never knew my mother until towards the end. You know, I had her on actually food combining, which we discussed a couple weeks ago, and I had her with a caregiver so that she could eat and take whatever I wanted her to take as far as nutrifying and supplements. She was able to lose the fat rapidly while in her bed. You know, she was in hospice. And I did see her slim down right before she passed away, and she was more functional. But for this group of people, we have a situation where they have a stigma. Everybody that looks at them thinks that all they do is eat all day. My mother never ate the entire day. She wouldn't eat all day long, and she kept gaining weight. Well, how can that be?
Right.
Anything she ate, she had what's called hyperinsulinemia. When you're heavy like that, you get what's called a hyperinsulinemia with insulin resistance, meaning your body keeps secreting insulin, but it's not working. So there's what's called an insulin resistance. These people will continue to gain the weight. They will become pre-diabetic because the insulin's not working to take the blood sugar down. They will continue to gain weight without even trying. They don't even have to eat a lot of food, and they will continue to gain weight. These are people that, like we mentioned last week, this week is a holiday, and one of the ways you can accumulate weight like this is if you after you have your baby, that was my mother. After her babies, she could not get the weight off. And a lot of that is due to hormonal imbalances that occur when you have too much weight on you. And the insulin is a lot of the reason for that, but it could be other reasons as well. And the other reason could be, and those women, they continue to gain weight, and suddenly they look down on the scale and they're 100 pounds overweight, and they're ready to slit their wrists. They don't know what to do. They're ready to die. They don't care. And then you have what we talked about last week, and this week is the holiday. And when you go through a holiday, or say you go through summer and it's a free-for-all, you don't pay attention, you don't discipline yourself, you don't try to restrict yourself as to eating healthy. I don't mean restrict. We don't restrict anybody on this program, this lifestyle. There's no starving, there's no restricting, but when you have to have certain knowledge, and that's what we try to do, is give you the knowledge and the wherewithal to understand what you're eating, why you're eating, when to eat it, and that way you have control over yourself. But if you go through summer, holidays, you go on a weekend to Las Vegas, and you just eat everything inside, and what happens is it becomes cumulative, and the studies have shown that during holidays, if you gain weight over the holidays because you eat all the foods that you're not used to eating, and the sweets and the drinks and the eggnogs and all that stuff that is so high calorie and full of sugar and rich and fat, you will put that weight on, and it's going to be hard to get that weight off. Mm-hmm. And it becomes what's called cumulative. So you keep it on, and it keeps like a snowball. It keeps, a snowball will continue to build snow on it as it rolls. That's what happens. And suddenly one day you realize, gosh, I'm so tired. You go, you don't feel good. You go to the doctor. They tell you need a knee replacement. You're looking out for a hip replacement. Oh, your blood pressure is elevated. We're going to have to get you on insulin pretty soon because your blood sugars are on borderline. You're borderline diabetic, and you don't sleep at night. You have sugar cravings. But doc, I don't eat. I starve myself most of the time. Doesn't matter. When you're in this situation, you will gain weight. And the key to this is to eat. Because if you put fuel in the fireplace, if you put the wood in the fireplace or the coal furnace, what's going to happen? You keep throwing wood and firewood and coal in there. What happens?
You're going to burn.
Boom! You have a blazing fire. that fire represents your metabolism.
But you have to eat healthy.
That's I was going to finish that. You have to eat healthy. You follow our 8 pillars. We utilize food combining so you don't miscombine your foods and put on fat. And, additionally, these POWER100 heroes, they put on fat and they're not even trying to. They can't stop it. It's out of control.
Right.
We saw a guy in the gas station
2 days ago.
2 days ago. He had to have been 400 pounds. God bless him. And he was in a big truck, and he needed a step stool to get into the truck because
To get out and to get back in.
He couldn't lift himself up. And we just looked at him. We were stopped at a red light, and we looked at him, and I said, "Oh man, that poor man. He's going to end up in bed."
No, it broke our hearts.
Yeah,
because so many people don't know what to do. This is a lifestyle for a lifetime. This is not where you're doing gimmicks. This is not where you're planning on taking off this weight maybe in 3 to 6, 9 months for an event. We're talking about a lifestyle so you never struggle again. When you go to our website, you'll see a bridge. The reason why I wanted that bridge there is because once you walk over the FYF for Good bridge, you don't look back because it's like you've learned the rules of the road. I mean, when you learn how to
see the light at the end over the bridge.
Hallelujah.
But these people go on diets. We have one woman that was on 22 or 24 different diets. Nothing was working. She was going to get the bypass surgery, for bariatric surgery, and she had to go to the classes, and they told her she would have to practically starve herself. And she goes, "I can do that now and lose. Why should I have the surgery if I have to do that anyway?"
And after you have the surgery, how are they going to eat properly so that they don't gain it back? Because many of them gain it back.
By the way, I saw a study today that said most of these people that have the surgeries end up with hyperinsulinemia.
Oh my God.
And insulin resistant. So you're doomed.
Doomed if
You're
you do.
doomed.
Doomed
The
if you
only
don't.
way out of this is the way God intended it: to eat the right food, to know how to eat healthy, and eat properly, and eat enough all the time, so your body doesn't sit there and go, "When is my next meal? I better hold on to this fat and slow down the metabolism."
Well, what happens is when you think you're eating healthy, you're really not eating healthy. And that's why Flush Your Fat for Good is a habitual ritual lifestyle to where we have phase 1, phase 2. You learn about phase 1 and what to do to get yourself completely regimented and you know when, where, what, and how to do it. And then once you get all the fat off, which people say, well, when do you know how to go to phase 2? And I always say when you can stand in the mirror butt naked and you like the way you look.
Woohoo!
Okay?
Yeah.
Or just how you feel in your clothes and it's like, I think I'm good. Then we show you how to get into phase 2. That continues. You can go back and forth with phase 1, phase 2. We teach you how to do that. It's also in the book.
And by the way, one of our biggest complaints initially from our buddies, do I have to eat?
Right.
Yes, you do.
Do I have to eat this much?
No, you don't overeat and you don't undereat. But yes, you do have to eat something so your body doesn't think it's starving and that fire, it keeps burning in your gut.
So what we're doing today, which we're excited about, is talking to Kathleen Powell. We're going to talk to Nicole and Dr. Ann. Is this correct? I think we have them all together, right? Because I left my list. So, but you have the way to call them in.
Are we ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Okay.
We are ready to talk to Kathleen Powell.
I hope she's ready.
Well, in the meantime, please go to fleshyourfatforgood.com and check us out. We have 23 videos, and we have over 100 audios and recipes. And there's the phone ringing.
There's the ring. Well, first ringing.
One ringing.
Hello, it's Kathleen.
There she is.
Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hello.
We wanted to talk to you. Not only we're going to introduce you as our co-writer with our book, Flush Your Fat for Good, Be Lean and Healthy for Life, but we want to hear your story, and we want everybody on Facebook Live right now to hear your story And also, since your sister Jennifer wasn't able to be here, we want you to involve what happened with Jennifer, because we're going to throw up you guys' pictures. And it was really shocking today.
I know.
Because we haven't seen your pictures in a while, your recent ones.
I don't think I ever saw that first one.
It was incredible.
Wow.
So, Kathleen, hi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies, for all that you have done to change all of our lives. You know, it's exciting to be part of this journey and to share this with you and just to help others, you know, discover Flush Your Fat for Good. So super excited to join you this evening, and I'm happy to share some of my story with you. It's been, probably a little over 2 years when I was introduced to Flush Your Fat for Good, and it was, this is me at about at least 275 pounds, and there I am recently. This was just a couple of months ago when I was on a trip with my sister and dad into Colorado. But I was at my all-time high, and I have a short story that I included with you in the book about July celebration, and just at the lowest point, you know, in my life on my health journey, when I had reached my peak and realized that I wasn't probably going to be around much longer. You know, I was near tears. I was trying to enjoy my goddaughter's little celebration in the backyard around a swimming pool, and long story short, broke a little wooden chair, and just, you know, had to sit in a timeout stool and just felt horrible. And, you know, sometimes you have to crash to that bottom to, you know, start praying and you know, come to a realization that, you know, you're not going to be around much longer. And it just, you know, I don't know what was aligning in the universe, but a few weeks after this happened, I was at home, and my sister called me, and this is my sister Jennifer, and Jennifer and I didn't really talk much. She was extremely heavy also, and her and I didn't have a close relationship. And she called me, and she was talking all excited on the phone, and she wanted to share something with me. There's my sister when she was her heaviest. And she wanted to share something with me, news about something she had discovered, and on, and I just wanted to get off the phone and, you know, wallow in my self-misery.
Yeah.
And I heard her say, I wanted to let you know, this was at the end of July, beginning of August. She said, 3 months ago, I started this new lifestyle, and I met these two women from the LA area, and I started eating a different way, and I started taking healthy supplements, and you know, I'm like, yeah, whatever, you know, I'm just kind of just wanting to continue to get off this phone call. And she said to me, and I've already dropped 30 pounds of fat. And that's when all of a sudden the light went off, and I started paying attention to her, because my sister was not somebody who was going to be in the gym 3 hours a day and starving herself to death. She's just not. And so I started listening, and I asked her to please, I said, just tell me what to do. Just don't tell me any more about it. I don't want to know. She started into food combining and low glycemic eating, and, you know, and I just said, please just don't tell me anymore, because I didn't want to invest any time in doing a diet that was going to fail.
Right.
And I hadn't gotten a grip on this concept of a lifestyle. And so she said, no problem. I'll help you get started. I'll send you a shopping list. I'll tell you what to get to supplement your body. And she did. And I said, I'll give it a try. I'll just start to follow it. And it was different, but it was straightforward. And you're right, I had a challenge on, like many others, on forcing myself to pay attention and to eat, because I would get up in the morning and grab some coffee and out the door, and before you know it, it was noon, you know. And I thought that was a great way to, didn't need to put those calories in my body. And so I had to retrain myself on how I thought about food and to eat. And jumping ahead, long story short, I all of a sudden about week 2, I started realizing about 7-8 days into it, my clothes were fitting looser.
Right.
And I just kept going and going and going. And all of a sudden, my body just started burning the fat at 3 pounds a week. And I just kept going. And so.
And how did you feel?
Life.
How did you feel when, not just emotionally, but I mean, were you starting to feel healthier week by week?
I could feel it changed with every bite of food.
Right.
So I was at such a point in my life where I was sore all the time. I had to grab a hold of the handrail every time I'd go down steps because my knees hurt so bad. And, it was, you couldn't get down on the floor and stand up without it just being extremely painful.
And I know that you're not that old, okay? I won't tell everybody your age. I promise. But, I mean, you're not, you're in the prime of your life right now.
You're not on Medicare.
Let's put it that way. But, I mean, Kathleen, so what was the final? What was the bottom line for you at the very end? I mean, you're still on your process. Because you had started, 275 was rather large.
I've lost almost 100 pounds of fat, and I've probably lost I've lost more than 100 pounds of fat because I carry a lot of muscle on my body, and I work out regularly. I go to the gym 3 times a week, and I make sure I get some weight training in. It's not hardcore weight training, and I walk. On this lifestyle, you walk 5 times a week for 30 minutes at least, and it's not, it is a great, it's not the healthiest exercise in the world, right? Walking, is to keep your body moving and breathing, and so I'm still on my journey. So I've, I lost quite a lot of fat, and then I think my body is readjusting, it's recalibrating to my new, your
size.
Organs and your skin and everything starts shrinking. And you have to not only readjust to that, but as we know, our bodies prioritize. And so, your body focuses on what is most important at the time. And, when you lose a lot of fat, you are you're breaking up your fat cells, and that puts toxins, the fat cells will store toxins. If you ingest toxins into your system, the body doesn't know what to do with it. They get stored. And where do they get stored? They get stored in fat cells. So when you lose fat, it breaks up those fat cells, and now you've got toxins flushing out of your body, and
right through your liver.
You've got to process all of that, and if, for example, right in the middle of all this, I cut my foot severely, and at a birthday party for my goddaughter, the same one that was at that realization moment I wasn't going to be around to see her get married. Your body has to heal, so. An injury or something like that, or you just have to rebalance your hormones and get yourself healthy. You will experience what you think are plateaus, but they're not, right? It's just part of our prioritization.
No, it's always
body.
the immune system prioritizes itself. I'm going to ask you one last question before we go to Nicole. Are you ever going to change? Are you ever going to go back? Are you ever going to go back to the way you were?
Oh gosh, no. Because what you learn when you're on this lifestyle is, for the first time in your life, you enjoy getting up every day, and you enjoy preparing your food. You enjoy eating. You enjoy, getting to know your body and supplementing your body and knowing what to do to make it healthier and healthier and healthier. So it's a journey, and it's a fun journey to be on, because now you have the knowledge to make the right decisions. And you never look back. I mean, you don't crave sugar. You don't. I wasn't a sugar person per se, although I sit down and eat a tub of ice cream because I was emotionally, trying to find comfort. But I was more of a salt and
starch and
potatoes
salt and things
kind
like
of
that.
person. And I just you don't want it anymore. You just want to taste great food,
Isn't that
and
amazing?
your taste buds
It's
become
amazing.
alive once they get cleaned up.
Well, listen, thank you so much. I'm glad we could capture you at this time because we know you're up there in Silicon Valley with all those fires. So we hope that you're breathing clean.
All the more reason to drink that extra Kranzlash.
Yes,
There you go.
ma'am. There you go.
So.
And here's to your health. Thank you,
Anyway.
Kathleen.
Happy
Thanks for joining
Thanksgiving.
us, honey.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So now, that's pretty amazing, you guys, because here's a lady that she didn't want to hear about it anymore. She didn't want to even listen to all the details that her sister, who she knew wasn't going to jump in the gym, who wasn't going to, exercise and starve herself like most people think, right? A lot of people still think it's about calories.
Well, you can't. How can you exercise like that if you're 100 pounds overweight?
You can't, and she couldn't even
She couldn't
kneel.
even go down the stairs.
Right, and she's holding so.
Same with Jennifer too.
Right.
She had
So
problems with her
both
knee.
those girls, both of them have lost approximately 100 pounds, and they're still on their journey because they were over the 100-pound mark. But you know what? They're learning to love life and feel great, and they have saved themselves. Because
You know what I love?
where were they going to be?
What Kathleen always says to us is we have what we call a DOE,
Right.
day of exhaustion, which is the day, it happens anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks to actually to even 4 weeks. It depends on the person, but you have a day where you're exhausted. I mean, you just feel like all the sand has run out.
Yeah.
And that is the day when your brain has turned over your body to burn your food, from your food
fat.
to your fat.
Right.
So you're burning fat. Kathleen always says, instead of DOE for day of exhaustion, she says, no, that was my day of energy. I love that.
Yeah, Jennifer says
Yeah,
that. So let's get going.
'Cause
Let's
they were
try.
always tired.
Let's talk to Nicole. Nicole is amazing, and she's up in Canada. And we asked her at the last minute if we could call her because the last time we heard her story, I was in shock.
Hello.
Hey, Nicole.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Very
Well, we're
good, thank
excited to talk to you on our LA Talk podcast here. And I wanted you to kind of give them a real quick Reader's Digest version of who you are and what happened to you and how did you get to Flush Your Fat for Good.
Okay, I can do that.
Great.
So, where do I start?
Well, who are you?
My name's Nicole Brouwer.
Yes.
I am a mom and a principal at a private school here in Canada, up in Ontario. I live just a little bit north of Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was introduced to Flush Your Fat for Good just under 2 years ago, and actually it was my husband who knew two people that had done it, Jeff and Eva, and he was like, hey, we've been talking about losing weight. Why don't we try this? And I had, frankly, tried just about everything out there and was seriously contemplating some kind of surgery.
Really?
And so I kind of,
Wow.
yeah, I really was. I was about 315 pounds. I was starting to have some serious health issues. The picture that you just put up, I was about 35, and I had a hiatus hernia from my weight. And then they gave me, and then I was having joint issues because of just ridiculously high inflammation levels. So they gave me something to take away the inflammation, which ate away at my stomach, which then had me on like an antacid. And I just saw my life unfolding with having to take a pill after a pill after a pill to take away all the different symptoms, and knew that we had to do something. And so I said, okay, well, we'll try it for 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. And I have to say I was pretty cynical because, you know, I just, he hadn't been on the same, my husband hadn't been on the same journey that I had been with emotional eating and just my identity, stuffing my emotions with food and all of that stuff. And I just kind of thought he thought it would be really easy. And then we started the program and, hey, it was really easy. So, so he, you know, bonus for him. He was awesome about that. So we started doing it, and the first 2 weeks were probably a little bit rough, but honestly not too bad. And like, I've never had it where things just start to melt away.
Right.
It was like ridiculous. And I kind of thought, like, you know, 2 months in I would get bored with it or it just would stop working, but that didn't happen. And we kept on going and going and going and going. And I hit some plateaus, but, you know, when I was hitting the plateaus, because I would go on the Facebook page being a little bit frustrated, and everybody just kept on saying, you're healing. And it's true, because my digestive system was healing. My inflammation was going down. My any kind of acid reflux stuff that I was getting was going away. And so each time I just kind of envisioned my body kind of doing a little bit of a reboot. And then I would step on the scale or take measurements, and all of a sudden I was down like another 3 inches or 4 inches. And so it would just be really encouraging. So that's kind of what we came through. I still have a little, because I keep on hitting plateaus as I heal, I still have a little bit more, but I'm just about at 100 pounds gone.
Wow.
I'm at about 90 inches off my whole body.
Wow.
And my husband lost 65 pounds in about 62 inches.
Wow, that is awesome.
You know, and you have children. So are you incorporating this with your family?
We are, absolutely. And I think the big thing with them was that we didn't make it a big deal. Like, we started doing it, and then I'm a mom, I'm a working mom. I commute in, like, if the traffic's yay, then about an hour each way. So I'm busy. And I didn't want to be making 2 meals for everybody.
Right.
Was really what it came down to.
Right.
So we kind of slowly started, you know, just kind of incorporating, you know, that into their day. We didn't make a big deal about it. When stuff ran out, we made better choices for them, because really that's what it comes down to, right? No baby comes out wanting to eat all the processed crap that we feed them.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
So
right.
we just slowly started to make the changes, and lo and behold, my daughter, who had struggled a little bit with some mood swings, that really cleared up in a huge way. And my son just had way more energy, way more get up and go and focus.
Nice.
And so, yeah, they don't eat, I would say, perfectly, because I can't control what they eat everywhere that they go.
Right.
They're a little bit more independent now. But, you know, they know what's healthy. Like, their favorite meal is pan-seared salmon and roasted broccoli.
Nice.
So when my kids are asking for that, I'm considering that a parent win.
Wait a minute. They don't like Jackie's chicken salad?
Now, my daughter loves Jackie's chicken salad. My son does not like mayo. So I put all of the components of Jackie's chicken salad, but I just don't put the mayonnaise.
Oh, that's good.
So he'll eat the broccoli, and he'll eat the chicken, and he'll eat the cucumbers, and he loves pickles. And I don't give him the shallots, because that's just too much straight up. But I put all the components in there, and then he eats it. But he is not a big fan of sauces. Now, my daughter, on the other hand, would eat it 24/7.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Well, you know what you've done? You've created a foundation of health in the family.
Yes.
And you're a principal of a school, so you know knowledge is power. And you've now taken control of your life. Thank God your husband is, that's why we love buddies, where spouses work together, sisters work together, friends, neighbors, whatever. And I think that what's so fascinating is that you've tried so many things, but this is the one that you understand is for life, right? This is your lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, so I loved having my husband do it with me, and we still, you know, when I get home in the afternoon, I walk in, and he's like, honey, do you want your latte? And I said, yes, please, and he makes one for me. So, and my kids know how to make the lattes, so
Right,
we're indoctrinating everybody.
Oh, my God, I love
ritual.
it.
It's like a ritual.
Yeah,
It's nice.
well,
Yeah, but it is, and you know what? But it's part of our daily routine now.
Yes.
Like, we almost don't even need to think about it because we know what we're doing when, and the kids know what's going on, and we know what's going on, so it's all good. But in addition to having my husband do it, which I have to say was amazing, super supportive, was the online buddy, like the Facebook page, and the ability to ask questions when I didn't know what the answer was, or just to get support when you got frustrated, or when you were having a bad day. You know, for all those people out there that are emotional eaters, you know, and I know that I'm not the only one.
right.
When you're having a bad day, you need to sound off about it, or your default is to eat, and then that just makes you feel worse, right? Like that just is kind of what happens, and then you feel guilty about eating, so then you're going to eat more because you're feeling guilty, and it's just a vicious cycle.
But you do
and so
have
the
that
online
community
support,
to really help you, and everybody's on your side. They're all wanting the best for you, and we have over 100 coaches to answer questions for you, so thank you for bringing that up. That's important.
Yeah,
we hear that all the time.
And don't you feel like you have more of a freedom now? You're free from the questioning of what do I eat when your feet hit the floor in the morning. It's like, okay, what do I eat? I'm going out to dinner tonight. What should I eat now? There's no questions now, right? You're free. You have control.
Well, and that's the thing. So, you know, I thought at first it would be really restrictive and really hard to follow, but because of the way the program works, it's actually not.
Right.
Right? So, like, yes, there are things that I don't eat, but those things make me feel horrible anyway, so why would you eat them?
Right.
Right?
Unless you're masochistic.
Unless you never knew they made you feel bad.
Well, when you start eating healthy is when you really realize the foods that are bad for you. When you, right?
Your body knows. If I go off for one meal, even if it's just like by accident, like, oh, I didn't read the label carefully enough, my body is like, oh, what are you doing?
Well, listen, Nicole, thank you so much. We're going to go to Dr. Ann right now, but we can't thank you enough. We know you had to stay up late to join us tonight. And just tell your whole family thank you so much. And we want to wish you, you guys celebrate Thanksgiving up there? Oh, they already had the one before, right?
I think last month they
celebrated. We do it in October, but that's okay. We will always celebrate as a family because I feel like you guys are part of my extended family now. So happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Likewise
thank you.
Here.
And Nicole, you're just such a delight, and we thank you so much for joining us, honey.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
See, that's just, I love it how she joins in with the family. It's habitual ritual. It just becomes part of your lifestyle.
It's just, and it's so freeing. You feel so free of questioning your mind. What do I do? And then, you know, it never worked out. You'd get on the scale and you'd gain again.
Call Dr. Ann, and this is why it's easy when you go shopping.
Yes.
Because you know exactly which aisle, where to go. Bada bing, bada bang. You can go right into the shelves wherever you want to go, and you know where everything is.
And the men love this. I mean, they can eat as much as they want.
Well, and her husband is the one that got her involved in that.
I mean,
and I'm
it's
really
incredible.
really impressed with that.
Okay, ready? Here we go. We're going to see if we can get Dr. Ann here.
Yeah. We're excited to share all these three people with you.
There it is.
Ringy dingy dingy.
Dingy, dingy, dingy.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
Dr. Ann.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Great. All right, Dr. Ann, we're going to ask you a few questions, and we're happy that you joined us. We talked to Kathleen and Nicole, and what was really important we wanted everybody to hear from you is because you just started 2 months ago. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, and give us the Reader's Digest version of what you've been doing and how difficult it's been for you until you got to flush your fat.
Well, I've struggled with weight most of my life. Had a thyroid issue, and they nuked my thyroid, and from that point on, the weight just kept coming on, and I couldn't get rid of it.
Oh, that's so scary.
I know that the Lord put me in this program, and it is working for me. I'm down 13 pounds, 14 inches.
Awesome.
Medicare has a new program where they send a tech in to take a picture of your eyes to see if there's any damage in your eyes. And they came in and took the picture, and I got the report last week. There's no retinopathy at all in my eyes.
Nice.
So thank God for that.
Yes.
I'm in another state of depression and very, very tired again. So I've upped my vitamin D to 10,000 a day. And having an issue of just being so tired again. So the toxic must be back in again, or I don't know.
You
still there.
No, you still have fat to lose, and you still have toxins from the past, from all different kinds of things, certain kinds of foods, and maybe medications in your fat cells. And you're going through another wave of losing fat. So they're gonna, just like what Kathleen was saying, your fat cells are gonna open up like an onion, and out comes the toxins, and they're gonna filter through your liver, and you're probably going through another DOE. This is common,
Yes.
and this is why we wanted to talk with you tonight, because we've had, a lot of success stories, but for people just getting started after suffering their whole life with being overweight, and you've had toxicity problems for a long time, to the point where you were even tasting the toxins, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
And didn't you have to go to the emergency for that?
I did. I went to ER because all I could taste was metal in my mouth.
Right.
I couldn't even drink water. It was so bad. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you have suffered.
Yes.
And, working with you has, I know it's been hard for you, but I think you're feeling hope that your life is not going the same road that it's been on. Is this correct?
Yes, it is. I know that I'm where I'm supposed to be. God has me here for a reason, and I'm trying to be patient. I don't have a lot of patience for myself, but I have patience for other people. And I just need this weight loss for health and for a conversation with other people to share this knowledge. So I'm impatient.
Well, that's why God wants you to be patient with yourself. You got to put the oxygen on you before you put it on the kid in the plane. Yeah. But what's your blood sugar like now? Where was it and where is it now?
Well, it was, anywhere from, before I started, 160, 170. It's down to 134 in the morning and 140 at night.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, that's an improvement.
Unless I don't get a lot of sleep, then it might be 150.
And how is your sleeping pattern? Because I want everybody to know this. Until Flush Your Fat for Good, Dr. Ann, it was questionable which direction you were going, and it was going down fast, very fast, right?
Right.
All right. So, how's the sleeping? Has it improved?
It's better most of the time,
okay.
But when the depression hits, it affects my sleep, and then it affects the sugar.
Well, and that's when we want you to take more phytosterols. So when you get into the workbook and you see the phytosterols, you see the glyconutrients, and sometimes it's about more protein.
Yes.
Okay? You want to be able to eat more protein to keep that blood sugar regulated. How's your, what else have we checked on you? Blood pressure?
Blood pressure is down into the 128, 130 from 150, 160.
Okay.
over 70.
Okay.
That's
So
good.
that's doing well.
You know, it's a process. You know that. You're a doctor too. And, you know, it's a process, and the body cannot accept subtle, fast changes, and it only accepts subtle changes. So as you go along and you start losing the fat, you're going to, your body's going to heal inside too. You have a lot of healing inside to do.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're going to have days where you're going to feel tired. And, you know, we always tell everybody, listen to your brain, listen to what your body says, and just, if you have to lay around all day, do it, you know?
And let me ask you this, okay? I have two questions. How long have you been, how many years have you been overweight and sick?
Oh my gosh. Way back to 1998, 99.
Okay. And what's
A lot of years.
Yes, a lot of years of suffering. So to be impatient, I understand, but the life of a red blood cell is every 4 months. We haven't even done half of that right now. And you're already getting great improvement. And I believe how you're feeling now, it's par for the course, because I think you're going through another stage of losing fat, toxins, and you know, you just and keep drinking your cran flush and continue to do what you're doing. My last question to you is, are you gonna give this up?
Oh no.
Whoa.
You
Absolutely
shocked her.
not.
You scared
I
her.
put my
for a minute.
winter coat on. And I have to move the buttons over at least 2 inches because
Whoa.
it's too big.
Oh,
Okay.
I love it.
All right. Well, on that, come on.
I have 2 pairs of underwear that are falling off my body, but when I look in the mirror, all I see is fat. I don't see what I know I'm feeling inside.
Yeah. Well, but your
if that
brain.
makes sense.
Yes, that's
Just
true.
stay the course.
Yeah.
You're doing it, girlfriend. You're doing it.
We're going to say goodbye to you right now because we're coming up on a hard break. But I want to thank you so much for taking the time. I know you had to stay up late and talk to us, and
That's okay.
it's a pleasure.
You're doing awesome. and-
Come on, we're so proud of you.
And reach out on Facebook or to us if you are, need help on Thanksgiving or you're having a craving. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Do a Mayday.
Thank you, Dr. Ann.
All right.
Okay.
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
All right.
Bye.
Good night and happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Thank you.
So I just want to tell you guys, we have the book, the workbook, Flush Your Fat for Good. We have the starter kit number 1 and starter kit number 2 that has our GLA, CLA with it, plus the shopping list and charts that are amazing. You can get started, bada bing, bada bang. And also we have the coaching course that Dr. Vicki and I have written for anybody that would like to know as much as we know.
Well,
Maybe you wouldn't want to know that.
It's a starter to give you the knowledge so you can understand why and what you're doing and
And
where
it's
it came from.
it's a certified
Yeah.
course,
And
7 modules.
Yeah, and we have 100 coaches, 24/7 in our Facebook page. So, Flush Your Fat for Good Buddies Facebook page. Just
Yeah.
ask to
Join.
be added to the room.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that's it. We want to say happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us. And until next week, God bless.
And we will see you next week.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, and a shout out to the fire victims. We're praying for you.
yes.
Thank you.
You're listening to Flush Your Fat for Good with Jackie and Dr. Vicki, only on LA Talk Radio.